Do you want to know if Palm Springs is where you want to call home? If you are thinking about moving to the Palm Springs area, then let's dive into the pros and cons and see if it's a good fit for you. Stay tuned. Palm Springs is about 107 miles east of Los Angeles and 120 miles northeast of San Diego. Palm Springs is very much a resort destination. It feels more like a small town feeling because about 50,000 people live in the area and nearly triples during the winter months. Many snowbirds choose these months to come here and defrost themselves when coming from much colder climates. Outdoor activities are very popular because of the warm weather and abundance of sunshine, about 300 days a year. Hiking, biking, tennis, and golfing are some of the favorite things to do here. Many people come to retire here, but lately we're seeing not only just retirees moving here, we are seeing people tired of the big city's hustle and bustle buying homes here, and also many that are lucky enough to be able to work from home. Let me tell you some pros about living in Palm Springs. Palm Springs is a very diverse city. The city does not discriminate and has a reputation for being friendly toward the LGBTQ community. There are people from all ethnic and spiritual backgrounds. Some even say that it's a place where conservatives and liberals tolerate each other, because everyone is happy to be living in a resort type of atmosphere. Moving here, if you don't feel like you fit in where you currently live, could be the best decision you can make. Another pro is that it is less expensive to live in Palm Springs than other areas in California. We all know that living in California is going to be more expensive than other parts of the country. Palm Springs will give you a cost of living that's about 10% less than the median cost is throughout our Golden State. Hi, I'm KimmyBloch, Realtor here in the Greater Palm Springs area, and I love helping buyers and sellers navigate around the beautiful area when they are selling or buying a home here, and I would love to help you. If you like my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. The outdoor activities are a preference here in Palm Springs. Okay, so you won't find many people heading outside during the hottest days of the year, but the rest of the year the weather is perfect for outdoor activities. There are plenty of activities to explore here, like golfing, hiking, tennis, and the oh-so-popular pickleball. For the hottest days, don't worry, there are plenty of fitness studios with air conditioning. There are so many nice communities and neighborhoods here to explore, and during the hot days, many enjoy walking after the sun sets. There's not only a bunch of outdoor activities, there are also plenty of attractions to enjoy here in Palm Springs. One of my favorites is the Living Zoo and Gardens. I love it because it's not so big that you get tired of walking around, but big enough to see some really fun things at the zoo. They host some really fun events during certain times of the year, like Safari Night, Halloween, Wild Lights, and their brew at the zoo. The zoo was named the top 1% of all attractions in the U.S. by TripAdvisor. Did you know that Palm Springs is often referred as the golf capital of the world? With year-round sunshine and incredible mountain backdrops and plenty of courses designed by very famous designers, it's easy to see why it's a top destination. There are over 130 golf courses in Palm Springs. With the great weather and beautiful golf courses, it makes it a very top golf and vacation destination. Tahquitz Creek Golf Resort in Palm Springs is a premier public course. Tahquitz Creek Golf Resort offers 2 challenging championship golf courses, and it's also rated as one of the best places to play for golf resorts. Ascena Golf Club is ranked as the #6 public course in California by PGAtour.com. This Nicholas design golf course is noted for its unobstructed sightlines, generous driving corridors and bunkers, water hazards, and undulating greens. Oh, and let's not forget about the beautiful mountain views. Another fun attraction that guests love to see while in Palm Springs is the Palm Springs Air Museum. This museum has a large collection of military aircraft, many of which still fly. They have planes for World War II along with the Korean and Vietnam Wars. They have docents who provide tours that are veterans themselves and have personal connections to the types of aircraft they talk about. And another favorite is the Palm Springs Art Museum, which is right directly behind me. Many love Sunnyland Center and Gardens. It has been a popular place to visit for decades by presidents. This was the former winter retreat for the wealthy Annenberg family. 12 acres have been dedicated to the public gardens and a visitor center with a rotating selection of artwork from the Annenberg collection. Tours of the mansion are available, but they do sell out about a month in advance. Another popular activity that tourists come to see is Tahquitz Canyon. Have you ever thought that there would be flowing water right here in the middle of the desert? This is a 2-mile loop that leads to a 50-foot waterfall tucked back into the canyon. You will need to pay an admission fee of $12.50 because it is located within the Agua Caliente band of the Cahuilla Indian Reservation. You can go on your own or do a ranger-led hike. There are so many attractions to do here in the Palm Springs area that it's really hard to mention all of them. Another pro that's high on the list is the healthcare options in Palm Springs. They are some of the best in the state. Many of the hospitals in the Coachella Valley receive top marks for the care they provide, with Desert Regional being ranked best of its type by U.S. News and World Report. The Eisenhower Medical Center also receives national rankings for their approach to geriatric treatment. This is a great pro, even though Palm Springs really is more of a resort community. You'll discover that there are several affordable housing options available in the city. Retirees can enjoy the 55-plus neighborhoods. Housing prices start in the low 300s for a condo, and of course prices go up from there. There are many gated communities, resort-style amenities nearby, and lots of social events that bring everyone together. I love that there are several cultural events that are held throughout the year in Palm Springs. There's always something to do when you start living in Palm Springs. Modernism Week is an 11-day event held each February that takes a look at architecture and the history of the city. There's a parade of lights and a sponsored Veterans Day parade. The Palm Springs International Film Festival and Short Fest, which covers red carpet affairs that can be a lot of fun. That's a pro for sure. Did you know you can tour the movie colony neighborhoods whenever you want? Many celebrities took notice of Palm Springs in the 1930s. They came to Palm Springs to get outside of the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles. Their investment in the community caused the city to develop a program that identifies distinctive neighborhoods. Out of the 45 areas currently listed, 7 of them have cultural and historical significance. Some of the estates in these neighborhoods belong to Frank Sinatra, Carmen Miranda, Bob Hope, and Bing Crosby. What a fun pro. So here are some of the cons. Don't move here if you're looking for economic diversity. You won't find much here. The primary driver of the economy is tourism. Our resort-style atmosphere allows for plenty of employment in the area of hospitality. There aren't many positions available in technology or manufacturing. Unless you are an entrepreneur, self-employed, or lucky enough to work from home, you may just find it a bit challenging to settle down here as a young professional. You have to like it hot, hot, hot. We do get extreme temperatures while living in Palm Springs. The average high and lows are very comfortable. However, by the time June rolls around, it does get plain old hot. The average high usually does not get below 100 degrees. The weather gets amazing again, usually starting in October. Thank goodness the hot days don't last for very long. During the hot months, you need to prepare yourself just as you would need to prepare for a snowstorm. Neither are my favorite, but somehow we do survive. I will run my errands in the morning or when the sun goes down, then jump in my pool to cool off. The hottest months are usually in July and August. Another con is that the cost of living in Palm Springs is a lot higher than the national average. Key word here is national. Outside of housing costs that are remarkably affordable, you will find that the cost of services in almost every other area is a lot higher. According to the Cost of Living Index in Palm Springs ranks at 131.3 on a scale of 100. Yes, it is better than some of the other cities in California, but it is much higher than the national average. The median home price in Palm Springs at this time of recording is $735,000. The one highlight in the Cost of Living Index is healthcare. Palm Springs ranks at 87.8, while the average in California is 92.4. That makes it not hurt so bad. This one is an ugly one in my opinion. If you decide not to buy a home, and if it's not your best option at this point, then you will need to rent. You will pay more each month than the national average, although the costs are significantly lower than the statewide average. And I can attest to this con. Your outdoor furniture just won't last as long here in the Palm Springs area. In Palm Springs, we love to enjoy the outdoors, especially in the nice weather, but unless you have a protected area for your outdoor furniture, you will notice your longevity is pretty short. If the furniture is rated to last for 20 years, then just cut that time in half. Furniture covers are a must. It's better and cheaper to replace those than your expensive furniture. I learned this one the hard way, and I swear to you it happened overnight. I went to sit on my cushioned outdoor sofa and saw what I thought was the cloth being scratched by an animal with long claws, like a skunk or something. No, the further my husband and I investigated the situation, we realized it was from the strong sun. Now my covers stay on unless I'm sitting on them. Who would ever think in a million years that flooding can happen here in the winter when the drought isn't present? Well, it can. Every season comes with some extremes that you will need to manage when you start living in Palm Springs. If you're outside of a drought pattern, then the months of December and January can be pretty wet. It's honestly not unusual to see up to a foot of water running down the streets during some storms because there are few places for it to drain. Yes, and it does get chilly here. When it gets down to 60 degrees, I freeze. But it can get down to a low of 45 degrees, and when it does for us desert rats, it feels like sub-zero temperatures. I can almost see someone's eyes rolling right about now. And yes, let's not forget about spring here. We do get some wind events here in our beautiful Palm Springs area. It's not like the Oz type of winds, but when the wind blows in the desert, the dust blows everywhere. Many people that have allergies here break out the Claritin for some relief. I, for one, need to every once in a while. Summer sets in and the wind events calm down along with our allergies. Let's talk about the water quality in Palm Springs. Well, it's rather poor. It has a little disadvantage because of the high mineral content. Our water is pulled from the reservoirs deep under the ground or piping it from the mountains. The best investments for your home you can make in our lovely desert is to be proactive about maintaining your plumbing system. The water can be very hard on your pipes, appliances, and anything else that receives constant exposure. The water, however, is drinkable. This can be a con for many people. You will need a car to get around the city. We don't have any trains or light rails here to help get around the city. You do have some options like taking the public transportation, which would be a bus, taxi, or of course an Uber if you can find one available. Owning a car here is essential to get you to town and to all the other areas in the greater Palm Springs area. When having a car here, it's best to have a place to store it so you can cover it from the summer months in Palm Springs as it does get really hot. Palm Springs is a great place to live, and anywhere you live, you're always going to have pros and cons. It's best to know your preferences and needs. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And if you found this video helpful, watch my next video about the 9 cities in Palm Springs.